Hello YouTube, welcome back. Chris here. Today I want to talk to you about the supplies I use to clean a bike for a tune-up or bike detailing. I get asked this a lot in my videos when I do tune-ups or in the shop here when people pick up their bikes. They ask what I use to clean. So in front of you, this is everything that I use in a typical bike tune-up. First one, to clean the bike, Finish Line Super Bike Wash. It's just a good bike wash. I've been using it for years. They make it in a standard version or a concentrate version. I typically buy the concentrate version for the bike shop as it lasts a lot longer and it works just as well. For degreasers, I tend to use White Lightning Clean Streak. It comes in a couple different sizes. It's the same thing regardless of which one you get. But great stuff. It dissipates. It doesn't linger around. It doesn't get in places that you don't need it to because it will evaporate. And works really well for hard to remove grime and grease. For polish, I use Pedro's Bike Lust. I typically buy the gallon size for the bike shop, and I pour it into a smaller bottle. That's what I use on frames, tires, rims, anything rubber like boots on suspension. Works really well for that. For lubrication, I typically just use good old-fashioned Tri-Flow. I use both the aerosol and the drip versions, depends what I'm doing. I typically do the drip for lubricating a chain, for lubricating cables and hinge points, and I typically use the aerosol for cleaning. It is a fantastic cleaner, even though it is a lubricant. Works really well to clean out components when you might not want to get degreaser in there, such as a chain. Down here I have the tools that I use. First of all, rags. As you can see, I have a few different rags here. Something that I kind of always go by is the A-rag, B-rag, C-rag system. I do this so that my rags last me longer, so I'm not cleaning a really filthy drivetrain with an A-rag. I'll start with a C-rag, work my way up to a little bit cleaner rag, and then maybe a final polish with a real clean rag. And then they kind of graduate down as these get a little grimier. We cycle them down and eventually get rid of them. As for a brush, the only brush I really use is the GSC1 from Park Tool. I use this on greasy components. Also has the comb for cassettes. Works really well, inexpensive, and just a nice dependable brush. I have a little mini screwdriver here. I use this for scraping. If you have built up gunk on like jockey wheels or in a cassette or a chain rings, little tiny screwdriver is really handy for digging some of that stuff out where you might not be able to get a rag or a brush in easily. Dummy hub, one of my go-to tools. I always use a dummy hub. That way when I'm cleaning a cassette or a derailleur, when I'm cleaning a chain or a derailleur, I'm not getting the cassette dirtier than it needs to be as I do my cassette and my wheel cleaning off the bike. And last but not least, compressor blower. Very handy if you have tight nooks and crannies like around a bottom bracket or inside a derailleur or maybe full suspension hinge points or front suspension legs. A good way to get in all those little nooks and crannies, spray a whole bunch of bike wash, get it nice and wet, and then blow it out with this. It'll remove most of the debris in there that's hard to get to with a rag. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I'd be interested to see if there's anything that you guys might use that maybe I should try out. And we will see you next time.